Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What happens when the invisible world collides with ours, when a desperate father faces the impossible disappearance of his daughter from behind walls no human could climb? This is not fiction. This is a true Islamic account of Hazrat Ghaus-e-Azam Abdul Qadir Jilani, rahmatullahi alayh, where even the king of all jinn must bow before the authority of a true wali of Allah. It was an ordinary evening in blessed Baghdad. Inside the Khanqa of Hazrat Ghaus-e-Azam, disciples sat in peaceful contemplation, absorbing spiritual blessings from their master. The atmosphere was serene, filled with the fragrance of wisdom and the silence of devotion. Suddenly, chaos shattered the peace. The doors burst open with tremendous force. A man came running, not walking, but desperately stumbling into the blessed court. His face was deathly pale, his clothes torn and disheveled. He looked like someone who had witnessed his own destruction. Ignoring all protocol, he threw himself at the feet of Ghaus-e-Azam, his body trembling uncontrollably. "Ya Hazrat!" he cried out, his voice breaking with raw emotion. "I am ruined. My honor has been stolen. Help me or I have nowhere else to turn." The disciples looked at each other in shock. What terrible calamity could reduce a man to such desperation? Ghaus-e-Azam, with infinite compassion, gently raised his hand. His voice was soft yet powerful, immediately bringing calm to the chaotic atmosphere. "Peace, my son. Calm your heart and tell me what has happened." The man could barely speak through his tears. When he finally found strength, the words poured out like a flood. "Ya Hazrat, I have only one daughter, Fatima. She is my only child, more precious to me than all treasures on earth. I have raised her with utmost care and protection. She never leaves our house without permission. The walls are so impossibly high that no human could ever scale them." His voice dropped to a horrified whisper. "But today, something impossible happened. My daughter went to the rooftop for just a few moments of fresh air. When I went to call her, she had vanished. Disappeared into thin air. No doors were broken, no walls damaged. I searched everywhere, every neighbor, every relative. There is absolutely no trace of her anywhere." He made his final, desperate plea. "Ya Hazrat, I want my daughter back, alive and with her honor completely intact. If you cannot help me, then I have no hope left in this world." Act 3, The Saint's Vision. The entire room held its breath in tense anticipation. Ghaus-e-Azam sat in perfect stillness, showing no alarm or confusion. Slowly, deliberately, he closed his eyes. The disciples knew that when their master closed his eyes in this particular way, he was not simply thinking. His spiritual vision was traveling through realms invisible to normal sight, journeying into the unseen dimensions where the jinn dwell. Long minutes passed in heavy silence. The desperate father waited with clasped hands, tears streaming down his face, not knowing what was happening, but trusting completely in the power of the saint before him. Finally, Ghaus-e-Azam opened his eyes. There was a supernatural radiance in them, a certainty and knowledge that made everyone understand. This blessed saint had seen everything. "Remove the anxiety from your heart," the saint said with absolute confidence. "You will have your daughter back today before sunset. You will receive her alive and well, with her complete honor perfectly preserved. This I promise you in the name of Allah." Hope began to kindle in the father's devastated heart. "But Ya Hazrat, how is this possible? Where is she?" Ghaus-e-Azam leaned forward, his penetrating gaze fixed on the desperate father. "Do you know the place called Viran-e-Amal, the desolation of deeds?" The father's face went even paler. "Ya Hazrat, that cursed place is the most terrifying haunted forest in this region. Even during daylight, people are afraid to go there. It is widely believed that the jinn gather there in great numbers. Many who have gone there never returned." "Yes, and that is precisely where you must go tonight." Before complete panic could overtake him, Ghaus-e-Azam gave precise, detailed instructions. "When you reach Viran-e-Amal, you will see 3 old forts. Pass by the first fort, do not stop. Pass by the second fort, do not pause. At the third fort, you will find a raised stone platform. Climb onto it and sit in the center. Take my name with complete faith, Ya Ghaus-e-Azam Abdul Qadir Jilani. Blow upon your finger and draw a complete circle around yourself, leaving no gaps anywhere." The saint's voice became firm and commanding. "An army of jinn will pass before you, thousands upon thousands, some small like children, others massive as mountains. They will attack you from every direction with terrible sounds that will freeze your blood. but they will absolutely not be able to cross the line drawn in my name. After the entire army passes, their emperor will come. So powerful he can uproot mountains, so terrifying that men have died of fear just seeing him. But even he cannot cross the line. When he asks who you are, tell him, I am the disciple of Gaus-e-Azam Abdul Qadir Jilani. My daughter has been kidnapped by one of your jinn. I want her back today, alive and well, with her honor intact. If even a single hair on her head has been harmed, by my master's power, your entire race will find no place to hide anywhere. The father, despite overwhelming terror, felt true faith rising in his heart. Yes, Ya Hazrat, I will do exactly as you commanded. As the sun set, the father set out toward Virane Amal. With every step, safety fell away behind him. The populated areas gave way to farmland, then to wild, uncultivated land, and finally to the cursed forest itself. Even from a distance, the place looked utterly forsaken. Twisted, dead trees reached toward the darkening sky like skeletal fingers. Strange, unsettling sounds echoed through the air, sounds that were neither fully human nor animal, but something else entirely. But thinking of his beloved Fatima, he pressed forward into the gathering darkness. He passed the first fort with its flickering lights and strange sounds. He passed the second fort, feeling overwhelmed by invisible watching eyes. Then he reached the third fort and found the raised stone platform exactly as described. He climbed onto it with trembling legs, sat cross-legged in the center, and called out with every ounce of faith, Ya Gaus-e-Azam Abdul Qadir Jilani! He blew upon his finger and carefully drew a complete circle around himself. The instant the circle was complete, the entire forest exploded with supernatural activity. Sounds grew rapidly louder and closer. Then he saw them, thousands of jinn materializing from everywhere. Some appeared as monstrous creatures with multiple heads and twisted limbs. Others took the forms of enormous animals, wolves with eyes of fire, serpents as thick as tree trunks, apes with fangs like daggers. Still others were vaguely humanoid but hideously deformed in ways that defied description. They rushed at him from all sides simultaneously. Claws extended, fangs bared, eyes blazing with rage and hunger. The father squeezed his eyes shut, expecting to be torn to pieces. But the jinn slammed into an invisible barrier and bounced back violently, howling in frustration and disbelief. Again and again they tried different approaches, but nothing worked. The circle was absolute. It could not be crossed or broken. Realizing he was truly protected, the father opened his eyes. Despite his fear, he felt his faith strengthen like steel being tempered in fire. His master had not failed him. For what felt like hours, thousands of jinn continued to pass and attack, but none could touch him. Finally, the army thinned and stopped. Complete silence fell. Then he heard impossibly heavy footsteps that shook the ground itself. From the darkness emerged a figure of immense majesty and terror. The Shahanshah of the jinn, massive and terrible, with eyes like molten gold. With a roar that shook the entire forest, he charged at the circle and slammed into the invisible barrier. The mighty emperor fell back in shock and disbelief. Who are you? By whose name have you drawn this circle? The father, remembering his master's words, replied firmly, I am the disciple of Gaus-e-Azam Abdul Qadir Jilani. He sent me here. My daughter has been kidnapped by one of your jinn. I want her back today, alive and well, with her honor intact. If even a single hair on her head has been harmed, by my master's power, your entire race will find no place to hide anywhere. The emperor's face went pale with terror at hearing that blessed name. He immediately bowed his head in respect and fear. Gaus-e-Azam, he exclaimed, his voice filled with reverence and dread. The emperor immediately called his entire army back and commanded them to search the whole world for the missing girl. Hours passed as the father waited in the protective circle, his faith unwavering. Finally, the jinn army returned, bringing Fatima, completely unharmed and untouched, along with the guilty jinn who had kidnapped her. The emperor, furious at this violation, executed the criminal jinn instantly. He then turned to the father with profound apologies. Take your daughter and go in peace. Tell your master that we honor him and fear his authority. As they prepared to leave, the father asked one final question. Do all jinn believe in my master? The emperor replied with deep reverence. Your master is not just the protector of humans. He is the spiritual doctor of jinn as well. When his blessed gaze is raised toward our realm, our entire world trembles. Go in peace and convey our respect to him. They left as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, having witnessed the absolute authority of a true Wali of Allah.